Hi, we will talk today about graphing equations by plotting points. The graph of an equation in x and y is the set of all points x and y in the coordinate plane that satisfy the equation. And as you can notice here in the screen, we have an equation and this is the graph of this equation. So as you can notice too, here we have 4 points that are on the line. And let me just try one point. So we have this equation. Let me write it again. We have y equals to x plus 1. We can just use this point here. So it's 0 and 1. Basically, the first value is the x value. The second value is the y value. So we can just substitute now. So we have 1 equals to 0 plus 1. And that would equal to 1 equals 1. And that proves that this point is a solution or on the line. Actually, you can try the other points and you will find the same thing. You'll get a value equals to another value, and that indicates that this point is a solution for this equation here. Let's see an example. So example number 1 says, sketch the graph of equation 2x minus y equals to 3. So the first step to solve this example is to solve for y. So I'll just write the equation again. 2x minus y equals to 3. Now I will just add y to both sides. So this y and this y would cancelled. I will have 2x equals to 3 plus y. Now I can just subtract 3 from both sides. So this 3 and minus 3 would cancelled, and the remaining would be y equals to 2x minus 3, and we can just rewrite it as y equals 2x minus 3. The second step is we have to draw this table here. We will have the x values, and here we have the equation. This is the same equation that we have found here. And then we have the x and y coordinates. So in the x values, we have to initialize them. We have to put them ourselves. So I will just put 0, 1, and 2, since they are easy numbers. And now we're gonna substitute in this equation. So we will have y equals to 2 multiplied by 0 minus 3, and y would equal to minus 3. So the coordinates would be 0 and minus 3. And for the second row, the x value is 1. So we'll have y equals to 2 multiplied by 1 minus 3, and that would equal to, here we have 2 minus 3, which is minus 1. So we'll have 1 and minus 1. And then we will have 2 here. So y equals to 2 multiplied by 2 minus 3. So y would equal to 4 minus 3, which is 1. So the coordinates are 2 and 1. The final step is to graph or to plot these points here. So the first point is 0 and minus 3. So this is 0 and minus 3. This is 0 and minus 3. And the second point, this point, it's 1 and minus 1. This is 1 and minus 1. This is the point. And here we have 2 and 1. So this is 2 and this is 1. It will be here. So we can just draw a line connecting these 3 points, and we will get the graph of this equation here. Let's see another example. So example number 2 says, sketch the graph of the equation y equals to x to the power 2 minus 2. As you can notice, this is not a linear equation because here we have power of 2. So we have to choose our points carefully to get the correct graph. So in choosing points, you must choose 0 and a positive number and the negative number, and you'll see why in a minute. So let me just substitute here. So I will have y equals to 1 to the power 2 minus 3. So y would equal to 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. And the points are 1 and minus 2. And for the second row, y equals to 0 to the power 2 minus 3. So y would equal to minus 3. So it's 0 and minus 3 here. And for the last row, we'll have y equals to minus 1 to the power 2 minus 3. So y would equal to 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. So I will have minus 1 and minus 2. Now we're gonna graph these 3 points. So the first point, it's 1 and minus 2, so it's here. And the second point, it's 0 and minus 3, so it's 0 and minus 3, so it's here. And the last point is minus 1 and minus 2, so minus 1 and minus 2, so it would be somewhere here. So when we are connecting these points, we'll get a shape like this. And this is the graph of the quadratic equation here. Just be careful when you choose the values of x. You have to choose these values carefully in quadratic equations. Let's see another example. So example number 3 says, sketch the graph of the equation y equals the absolute value of x. So the first thing that you should do is to create a table like this. So we'll have x in the first column, the equation in the second column, and the coordinates in the third column. And as you can notice, in these kind of equations, you have to be careful when you choose the values of x. So I'll choose 0, 1, and minus 1. In the linear equations, you can just choose any value you want, but in the quadratic or the absolute value equations, you have to choose your values carefully. So now, y would equal to the absolute value of 1, which is y equals to 1. So we'll have 1 and 1 here. Y equals the absolute value of 0. So y would equal to 0. So we'll have 0 and 0. And here y would equal to the absolute value of minus 1. So y would equal to 1. So we'll have minus 1 and 1 as a coordinates. So let's sketch the graph. So we have here 1 and 1. So this is 1 and this is 1. So our point is here. And the second coordinate, we have 0 and 0, which is the origin. So this is 0 and 0. And in the third coordinate, we have minus 1 and 1. So this is minus 1 and this is 1. So this is our point. So our graph would be something like this. This is the graph of the absolute value. This is the graph of this function here. Let's see another example. So example number 4 says, use a graphing calculator to graph the following equation in the viewing rectangle. And we have here the viewing rectangle is minus 5 and 5 by minus 1 and 2. And here we have the equation. So let's graph the rectangle first. So we will have here x equals to minus 5, and here we have x equals 5, and then we will have y equals minus 1, and then we will have y equals 2. And I've just finished this part here. By the way, I'm using the Dismus graphing calculator. So now I've just draw or graph the viewport. Now I will graph the function. So I will have here y equals to 1 over 1 plus x to the power 2. And as you can notice here, I have the graph in black. So this is our graph in black. And we have the viewport, which is this rectangle here. Okay, this is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. And goodbye.